I like the other shoes better this morning.
Good morning, everyone. We will go ahead and call the Public Safety, Natural Resources, and Transportation Joint Subcommittee of the Money Committees to order. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Assemblywoman Anderson. Present. Assemblywoman Brown May.
Here.
Assemblywoman Dickman.
Here.
Assemblywoman Garlow.
Here.
Assemblyman Hafen. Here. All right. Senator Goycochea.
Here.
Senator Nguyen.
Here.
Assemblyman Watts. Here. Chair Harris.
Here, thank you. We have all committee members present, and therefore we have a quorum. We have four budgets on the agenda today, all from the Department of Motor Vehicles. We will go ahead and start with budget account 4711 and welcome up the team from the DMV. You all go ahead and take your time. Begin when you are ready.
Okay. All right. Good morning, Chair Harris, Chair Watts, and committee members. For the record, I'm Julie Butler, Director, Nevada Department of Motor Vehicles. Before we get started on the individual budgets this morning, and at the Chair's indulgence, I'd like to give a brief overview of the DMV transformation effort, where we've been, where we are currently, and where we're going. And I think it'll help set the stage for what you're about to hear and hopefully allay any concerns that you might have.
Ms. Butler, if it's okay with you, we're hearing specifically the budget for that transformation effort,
I
but we're hearing
understand.
that last. If you'd like, you can give us the overview and we will hear that budget first.
We can do that too.
Okay, let's do that then, so that they kind of coincide together.
Absolutely.
Committee members, we will be looking at budget account 4716.
All right.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yep.
So when I came to this body 4 years ago as a new director, the DMV was coming off the heels of a failed modernization attempt, a project called SysMod, short for System Modernization. I was the one in the hot seat at that time, the person left to answer the questions on a project that I was not involved in and had no knowledge of. Some of you were here at that time and remember that the DMV had spent approximately $30 million in services and equipment, and after three years had nothing to show for that effort. You were rightfully frustrated and angry at yet another failed state IT project. At the time, I asked this body to trust me that I would ensure the department regrouped, learned from the SysMod failure, and did not repeat it. We spent the 2021 biennium taking a pause on the project. We brought in a consultant, MTG Management Consultants, which was later acquired by Mission Critical Partners, with expertise in large and complex IT projects, to analyze our legacy system and recommend a path forward in a logical and fiscally responsible manner. When the COVID pandemic hit and the department closed its doors from March to June 2020, the blessing in disguise was it brought into focus that the department urgently needed to change its business model from brick and mortar to online services. That wasn't necessarily the approach we were focusing on before the pandemic, but it became clear that this was our only option afterward. We spent the remainder of the 2021 biennium deciding on the approach and the tools we were going to use to achieve that goal. One thing we decided early on is that this is not an IT project. It's a people project, focused on our customers and our staff that use and provide DMV services. The technology, while a critical component, is only a means to an end of making our customers the North Star or our guiding light in transforming our services. This is a critical distinction, and it is not how the state has traditionally run or approached IT projects. In the 2021 session, staff and I met with every member of the Legislative Money Committees to inform them of this goal and our vision to move most, if not all, of our DMV services to the cloud over the next 4 years, while continuing to offer traditional in-person services. There was some understandable skepticism, but let me share with you where we are now. Today, we are in the second year of implementation of the DMV transformation effort, or DTE for short. We are on schedule and within budget projections. We are at nearly 100% staffing for all employee and contractor roles, and our executive leadership team remains actively engaged in all aspects of program oversight. Research and Project Management Division Administrator Molly Lennon will present the DTE budget, and she has some exciting and tangible wins to share with you about our efforts so far. Ms. Lennon will present a request to continue the DTE program into the 24-25 biennium, focusing on the additional software tools and staffing resources that will need to be successful. To put your minds at ease, every 6 weeks, we have an independent analysis of the program's health and risk conducted by one of our vendor partners. This allows us to make course corrections and mitigations if we see a particular area of risk. The current risk score is at a low level for a program of this magnitude for this point in the program. Through strong oversight and project management, the department is confident we can manage the program's scope, schedule, and budget to a successful conclusion when the contract ends in September 2026. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Molly Lennon and Robert Kalin of Mission Critical Partners to present Budget Account 4716, and then Ms. Susie Block, Administrator of our department's IT division, will present Budget 4715. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairs Harris and Watts, and committee members. For the record, my name is Molly Lennon, Administrator of Research and Project Management Division at the DMV. I am presenting the DMV Transformation Effort Budget Account 4716. I would first like to share, as Director Butler testified, that we are on schedule and in line with budget projections. DTE is in its second year of implementation and is utilizing over 100 resources between employees, contractors, and vendor support, as well as several different cloud-based products. Some of our program accomplishments include the program's design of new solutions in Salesforce, including registration renewal, registration, exemptions, non-commercial driver's license real ID issuance, voter registration, including various features like document upload, utilizing another product, Nintex, and foundational work with Abby, a third product, to identify documents digitally within our transactions. Proofs of concepts have been tested for many required integrations in our new platform, including but not limited to Social Security verification and VIN verification. The DMV's Salesforce chatbot was soft launched December 15th, 22, and full release with Spanish translation went live in February. The chatbot utilization has increased from 59,843 conversations per month to 86,493 per month since January 23. A dealer titles pilot was launched in February, allowing dealers to complete a pre-approval of documents via our document upload that reduces turnaround time on issuance. Expansion requirements are under review now to include additional dealers. Compliance Enforcement's case management solution, configured in Salesforce, was soft launched on Monday, the 27th. This is our largest release thus far and includes a lot of foundational work for most of the products planned for release by the end of the program. These are highlights supported by major efforts in security, data, integrations, and our finance and accounting solution transformation. We're embracing solutions and practices that have been successful in other states. We have strong program management practices, dedicated team of professionals, and are focused on delivering to our customers, the citizens of Nevada. With that, I will give a brief overview of the budget account 4716, which is comprised of 29 employees and 21 contractors. This division provides program management and implementation services in support of the comprehensive transformation of DMV's business, environment, and systems, referred to as DMV Transformation Effort, or DTE. This customer-focused effort is restructuring, replacing, and re-engineering all of DMV's processes and underlying technology via the cloud-based solution Salesforce. The program will improve online services, reduce office wait times, thereby increasing customer service quality and efficiency. The effort is comprised of 6 strategic initiatives, including program organization, compliance and enforcement, data migration, finance and accounting, driver's license credentialing, and title registration. This is a multi-year implementation through September 8th, 26, with a long-term operational effort upon implementation. Overall funding needs were identified and approved by the 21 legislature in the reserve category, requesting the DMV to submit a work program to move the authority to category 16. The implementation costs have been refined for fiscal year 24 and 25. Today, I would like to highlight the following decision units affecting the division. Decision Unit E550. In agency requests, this decision unit requested $16,029,368 in fiscal year '24 and $13,002,032 in fiscal year '25 in Category 16 for continuation of the DMV transformation effort. Included in this request are ongoing costs for required software and implementation services included in the original planned 4-year budget for CAT 16. Includes the renewal of Salesforce software licensing, providing a government-specific package, which reduces coding efforts needed for DTE. Renewals associated with ABBY software and configuration, providing optical character recognition and intelligent document verification. Our Clarity software and support that meets the DMV's finance and accounting requirements. Nintex software, which provides template management and document generation. Tableau software that provides reporting services and analytics for the DMV. Continued implementation services from Slalom for ABBY, Clarity, Nintex, and Tableau. Continued MuleSoft licensing to support middleware capabilities and integration efforts. Cloud data storage and tools to support data conversion and migration. And call center software to complete contact center modernization. The first iteration was complete and in production, which is the Salesforce chatbot. Decision Unit E551. This decision unit includes a requested amendment for an increase in authority of $7,354,611 in fiscal year '24 and $6,965,862 in fiscal year '25 for ongoing costs for required software and implementation services included in the original planned 4-year program budget and adjustments to renewal costs in Category 16. The amendment also includes request for an increase in the number of required contractors. This request includes the addition of 10 contractors to support technical and business development and process improvements in CAT 10. Without the increase in funding, resources will be required from our existing staff, which may cause delays to DTE's roadmap delivery and delays in upskilling of staff for organizational readiness. This request coincides with the procurement of our content services platform, call center software, and our already in-flight projects, finance and accounting replacement, data cleansing and migration, integrating Salesforce with our national motor vehicle network partners, and all other services required to deliver products to our customers. Each implementation is slated to occur beginning the first quarter of fiscal year '24, with potential delays if resources are not in place to execute on release and delivery. This concludes my remarks on Budget Account 4716. I'm happy to take any additional questions.
Okay, thank you so much. I believe our first question is going to come from Chair Watts.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and you did a pretty good job of giving an overview of where the project is at and some of the tasks that are being completed, some of the things that are being rolled out, and some of the planned deployment. But yeah, if you could just, I know that you provided this in the overview. At one point, we were kind of looking at rolling things out on an ongoing basis. Now we're kind of leaning more towards getting everything rolled out at once, although there are certain things that have been rolled out in pilots and a few different individual modules. So if you could just kind of clarify for us if there are any any modules that are going to go live during this biennium, because I think the planned full kind of go live date is just outside of this biennium. And then also you mentioned some of the releases, and I didn't hear you mention the compliance enforcement case management system, which I think was almost ready to go live, or if you did, I missed it. So if you could just give an update on where that's at, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Assemblyman Watts. For the record, Molly Lennon. That is correct. We originally intended to release incrementally. In order to produce our core products, we require integrations with our National Motor Vehicle Network partners for compliance and eligibility with federal standards and to maintain reciprocity where applicable with fellow jurisdictions, which would have required running our existing CARS legacy system parallel to our new Salesforce platform. What that required us to do was take a look at our approach. Our partners were also going through a modernization, and they would not support those two connections. We reevaluated, and in order to maintain services for customers while we transform, we have put together a minimum viable product, which we're calling Unified Release. Those are our core products that will be released at the end of the program effort in fiscal year 26, and those are our major products, our driver's license, registration, title, occupational and business licensing. There will be large parallel efforts released in the interim. I spoke about a couple of them, our contact center modernization, enhancements to chatbot. We are also, let me come back here and take a look. We did discuss too the compliance enforcement case management. That was actually soft launched on Monday the 27th, and that is our biggest release as of yet. Our development and design will continue through the end of the program, and we'll continue to expand the existing pilots, but without the integrations. AMVA alone, our major motor vehicle partner, is 10 integrations, and we can't produce driver's license, title, and registration without that. So we've aligned our data, our integrations, our design and development, and our org readiness all to reach that unified release.
Thank you for that. That's very helpful. And then we actually had in another committee that I was chairing yesterday a discussion about driver authorization cards. And I was just wondering, when the licensing and credentialing is fully released, will there be virtual options for either applying for or renewing driver authorization cards?
For the record, Molly Lennon, yes, there will be virtual options. Our upload features will allow us to review documentation on all credential applications, including DACs.
All right. I have a question. Could you just quickly explain the department's long-term need for the 29 positions in this budget once the transformation project is completely implemented?
Thank you, Chair Harris. For the record, Molly Lennon. The program effort will continue post-DTE, as backlog will exist for functionality that must still be built within Salesforce after we've decommissioned our current legacy system. When the vendors roll off, our staff will be prepared to continue the effort, as well as respond with changes and enhancements as necessary, and the department is identifying gaps in existing skill sets throughout the program. The 2019 roadmap projected the need to increase support for DMV projects that could be added to the Salesforce platform in the future. These employees will continue to support our future state customer-centric cloud environment, the agile development methodology, continue enhancements for customer experience, support continuous development of existing backlog and innovation, continue lean process improvement, provide super users in our customer-facing divisions like field services and central services, and in their areas of experience, and or fill existing skill set gaps as identified through the lifespan of the program. Some examples there are data, release management, and security roles.
And in the same vein, why would the transformation effort require the additional MSA contractors, 12 in 24, 8 in 25, beyond the 20 that you already have included in the base budget?
Thank you. For the record, Molly Lennon. The existing contractors are supporting in-flight work streams and initiatives, testing, QA, driver's license ID, title registration, our finance and accounting, our data migration, security oversight, and legacy backlog programming that impacts our DTE. MuleSoft and Salesforce development, project management for our larger implementations, content services implementation. Roles we are preparing to recruit for our data officer, architect skills, and additional Salesforce MuleSoft experts. The difference between those existing contractors and those we're asking for is that they will be working on one-time integration efforts, and 2 of those positions are actually backfill for our administrative services division so that their SMEs can focus on our finance and accounting transformation.
So for the 2 that are backfilled, are you using vacancy savings to pay for those contractors or a portion of them?
Molly Lennon, for the record, we are not. We are attempting to fill all of our vacancies, and I believe we've just filled 2 of them. But even with filling those vacancies, what we've learned up to this point through transformation, we have trouble doing our day jobs and also focusing the amount of time it takes in these time boxes in order to transform and move to the cloud. And the finance and accounting solution is no different in terms of the services that administrative services provides. In order for them to continue serving the rest of the divisions, they're going to need this backfill support.
Okay, next question is from Assemblyman Hafen.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you all for being here today. I think you expressed all of our feelings on the previous, but I want to touch a little bit on some of the various contracts that are being recommended for the project, and kind of how we chose to go the directions we did, including the amounts and how those were calculated. And when I talk about, part of it is that I'm curious if we prioritized Nevada-based companies. I see we're using AWS and not Switch, and so I didn't know if that was ever taken into consideration when doing the contract recommendations for the project.
For the record, Bob Kalin, Senior Advisor for DT. What we did was we looked at all of the available technologies and the providers for those technologies, and we wanted to take advantage of the best practices that we saw, particularly in California and Arizona. And by going with particularly Salesforce and the other providers, we've honed in on the industry leaders that provide and have experience with what we're trying to do. In terms of looking at local providers, we've gone to the Department of Purchasing and used their cloud services contract to select the vendors.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Chair Watts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Following up on that, so we've got a list of the different contract software and hardware costs, and I was just wondering if you could provide a little bit of background on how you were able to project the different amounts that are needed in each fiscal year for those various costs.
For the record, Robert Kalin. Certainly, sir. The contract amounts we looked at were derived from what California's doing and from estimates that we obtained as we were doing the roadmap. One of the key things we looked at were volumes, and we took complex analysis of our transactions, the citizens, the growth projections that are available from the budget office, and estimated usage. Most of the cloud-based services are based on storage and usage. And so from those numbers, we were able to estimate, based on publicly available costs, what the approximate amounts would be. And we've been pretty successful coming in below those projections.
That's great to hear. It's one of our favorite things to hear. And then, it sounds like you have these kind of 6-week check-ins on the status of the project to identify and then hopefully address anything that might be a potential hurdle to getting this done on time. And I actually do appreciate that, you've identified some additional resources that are needed to make sure that we deliver the project on time under the current plan that's been laid out. But I just want to put an extra fine point on it. So at this point in time, based on where you're at and assuming that you get the resources that have been requested, do you have any concerns with the current project timeline, and do you expect it to be done when projected?
Thank you for that question, Julie Butler, Director, Nevada DMV. It's an aggressive schedule. We knew that going in. The original roadmap from 2020 projected that this was going to be an 8-year project. I knew there was no way this body would stand for us, dragging this on for 8 years. I said, we need to do it in 4. It's a heavy lift. There are some significant risks. One of it being what legislation comes out of the 2023 session. Because as bills are enacted that impact the DMV, we're going to have to do a very careful balancing act of, are we going to make those changes in the existing system that we're trying to get off of, and in essence, basically waste the resources, waste the money, waste the staff time and the effort on something that we're trying to decommission, or are we going to, be able to pivot and move to the new system, which is what we have to do. So, what we're trying to do is work with, many of you have worked with Sean Sever, our legislative liaison. He's been very persistent in asking you, to the extent that you're willing, to delay implementation dates or push out your bills, recognizing you all have a job to do and constituents to represent, but we will never finish this project if we have to keep going back and modifying the old system. And we can't move our data until everything is frozen in that old system and we take a snapshot in time and then populate that in the cloud. We can't do that if we're implementing legislation that comes out of this session. So that's a risk. Training, staff training and acceptance of the new system is also a huge risk. We can build this beautiful, beautiful, wonderful system, but if the staff don't have time to learn it, absorb it, and begin using and feeling comfortable with it, that's also a risk in terms of rolling out. So, we're developing a plan based on what has worked in other states. We'll be socializing that training plan with the governor's office in the coming weeks, and hopefully they buy off on that. In terms of the data migration itself, we're about to enter the most complex portion of the project in these next 2 years, which is the data migration. What data do we have? Where does it live? How is it categorized? Which pieces of it need to move? Where does it need to move? Do we need to keep it locally on premises, or are we going to move it to the cloud? These are all things that we are looking at right now and studying and making sure that we do this right. But we are bringing in a contractor with some specific expertise in legacy software migrations to help us with this. Not that our staff can't do it, they can, but to keep the old system running, because people still need to get their driver's licenses, their titles, their registrations, learn the new system, and then try to do a data migration on top of it is just too much. So, am I nervous? Yes. It's a big lift. And I don't want to underestimate that. The magnitude of this program is huge. However, we have a dedicated team of over 100 professionals working on this. We have very strong project management, and I think with the combination of that and strong project management, the independent 6-week assessments, I feel confident that we will stick to our scope and our budget and bring the project to fruition to that minimum viable product.
Thank you for that. And I think your fiscal notes on bills have also been very encouraging for delaying out the implementation of different policies that have been brought forward this session. And, I think one of the things that I've expressed interest in the past and will definitely be interested in is making sure that once we get this new effort implemented, that not only are we able to adopt some of the proposals that have been brought forward this session, but I know that the lack of a modern DMV system has been a barrier to implementing a whole host of policy ideas. And so I expect that all of those are going to come back on the table at some point, and I hope they will be easy and cost effective to implement once the new system is online. And I hope that there are no issues that come up with any of those moving forward. So I guess, again, just to double back real quick, I understand there's a lot of work left to do. It's an aggressive timeline. So if we don't load you up with a ton of additional work and we give you these resources, it sounds like you feel as confident as you can that we're going to get this done with this budget, with the timeline that's been presented to us. Is that correct?
Julie Butler, Director, DMV, for the record. Yes, Assemblyman, that's correct.
Thank you.
Assemblywoman Brown May.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Director. I appreciate your presentation, and more so, I think I want to just say thank you for having Sean in the building quite so often. Mr. Sever has really been very effective in communicating what your needs are in order to be successful, which, as you can hear, we all want, right, is DMV to be successful. We often get calls from many constituents. My question, though, is really relative to the pilot program modules that I know that you all have been working on. One of them in particular is probably the titling with local vehicle sales, right? So auto sales. What are the implications for those types of pilot programs on this overall transition into the new system as we look at enabling better services for the end user, right? What is the financial impact or the timeline? Is it positive or negative on the overall transformation?
For the record, Bob Kalin, the change that we have for the unified release because of those ties to AMVA limit what we can do in terms of piloting. We're continuing to develop and build continuously as we had planned. We just can't put it out publicly because those integrations aren't available. We're looking for every opportunity where we can release functionality that's not tied to it, but we're into the core pieces that are all relying on AMVA.
Committee members, any additional questions before we close this one out? Okay. Thank you so much. We will go ahead and move back to budget account 4711.
Thank you. For the record, Molly Lennon, Administrator of the Research and Project Management Division. Today I will provide a brief overview for budget account 4711. Budget account 4711 is the account established to process record requests for the department and is a part of the Central Services Division. This unit of 15 employees is responsible for researching and disseminating driver's license and vehicle registration information. The records unit is charged with processing requests for information from individuals, businesses, law enforcement, court, attorneys, and other state agencies. Requests are received by phone, email, regular mail, and fax. The records unit maintains customer and commercial accounts and performs research pertaining to requests using a wide variety of programmatic systems and methodologies. The records section operates as a self-funded budget account, acquiring revenues from fees collected from the sale of department data as authorized by state and federal law. Revenues received partially support budget account 4741, which is Central Services and Records Division, and budget account 4715, our Motor Vehicle Information Technology Division within the department. Today I will highlight the following decision units. E242, requests to add additional contract services for customer and business address verification. This enhanced version of the existing address verification software will provide a cloud-hosted solution in support of customer and business address cleanup, as well as migration of addresses to the new Salesforce environment. Without this software enhancement, DMV will be unable to successfully migrate address validation to the Salesforce environment. That concludes my testimony on Budget Account 4711, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I believe we have our first question from Assemblywoman Anderson.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the presentation. You mentioned a little bit during both this presentation and the prior one about the testing and implementation of the address verification system, especially with the new transformation. When will the exclusive cloud-based items be utilized? And then also, when is the planned testing, will it be taking place? And more importantly, when will the implementation be completely done?
Thank you. For the record, Molly Lennon. The DTE team has completed a proof of concept of the address verification cloud-hosted address validation service with our new platform successfully in October of 22, which will integrate via our middleware MuleSoft. Services include the real-time address verification via USPS data. Currently, full implementation will occur with the release of our core products, our driver's license, registration, and title, as mentioned in previous testimony, in fiscal year 26. However, DTE has completed design and development of foundational transactions, requiring access to the cloud-hosted solution to complete that full life cycle of testing, which will continue with each feature that's developed throughout the program. We are still developing in an agile manner with 2-week sprints and testing accordingly. The DTE's testing lifecycle includes best practices for development testing, smoke testing completed with each deployment, user acceptance testing for each increment of work, user acceptance testing for each full end-to-end workflow based on the deployment requirements, also includes data migration testing, Salesforce performance testing using built-in Salesforce performance and monitoring capabilities, and security testing.
All right. I believe we have our next question from Senator Nguyen. Just kidding. Just kidding. We're going to go ahead and, unless there are additional questions on this budget, okay, we'll go ahead and close that one then and open up 4731. And then Senator Nguyen.
For the record, Molly Lennon, Administrator of DMV Research and Project Management. Today, I will provide a brief overview for Budget Account 4731. Budget Account 4731 is the account established for the Insurance Verification Program, known as Nevada Liability Insurance Validated Electronically, or NV-Live, which is what I'll call it from here on out, because that's a long one. This team of 21 employees is responsible for verifying that owners of motor vehicles registered in Nevada maintain Nevada vehicle liability insurance in compliance with state law. Revenue is generated from reinstatement fees and fines after suspensions for failing to maintain insurance, and these revenues are used to fund this budget account. Today, I will highlight the following decision unit affecting the division. E242, request funds for MV Solutions web service for insurance verification. The DMV transformation effort is replacing and reengineering DMV's processes, as I've alluded to in previous testimony. This will require replacing DMV-built insurance verification capabilities in the CARS legacy system with a new Salesforce-compatible solution. Re-implementing NV Live would be a large and expensive effort that would delay releasing the titling and registration functionality of the new system. DMV is requesting funding to continue project implementation with MV Solutions to provide a cloud-based insurance verification system with equivalent functionality currently utilized by 13 other states and accompanied by a recommendation from the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, or AMVA. That concludes my testimony. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Senator Nguyen.
Thank you for that. I'm excited about the implementation of some of these new programs. I'm hoping that I'm glad to see your department listened. I'm sure you were hearing it as well. But this kind of has to do with why the current NV Live system is unable to be customized to be compatible with the new department transformation effort system.
Thank you. For the record, Molly Lennon. The programming language that the current solution is written in is our CARS legacy language. As I mentioned in previous testimony, it would be a large lift to recreate that, and we wouldn't be able to use the existing language. We would still have to provide a new API or something to that effect. So we chose to do the research to find out what was being utilized by other jurisdictions and landed on MV Solutions.
Okay, next we will have Senator Goycochea.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and nothing generates a call out there in my community like somebody that goes in to register a vehicle and find out they owe a $250 insurance fund. Typically, they call me and say, what's going on? So I guess I'm along those lines. Can you give me an overview of how long it's going to, how you're going to test and implement this? You're talking to cloud, and that means it's going to storm to me. So the verification system, in this new transformation to the clouds, how are you going to plan and test that, and how long will it take you?
Thank you. For the record, Molly Lennon. Very similar to what we just discussed for address verification. We also completed a proof of concept for MV Solutions when we found out middle of last year that we had to replace that on-prem solution that was connected with our legacy system. It will integrate via our middleware MuleSoft, including all of the current functionality that we provide in NV Live and opportunities for enhancements to reinstate collections, calculations, and communications with insurance companies. Replacement of current functionality is the priority, but those additional features are being reviewed as part of the purchase to be implemented in the future. Currently, that full implementation will occur with release of the core products, but the DTE has completed design and development of foundational transactions like registration that will require MVS Solutions to complete a full life cycle of testing. In addition, and I won't review the full life cycle again, it is the same for the address verification service. This is a large change for our NV Live staff. So we will be doing focused training, in particular for those staff members, so they can assimilate to this new solution. Those training efforts across the board are slated to begin in June of '24 and go through the end of the program.
All right, just kind of a follow-up, if I may, Madam Chair. So then you're saying then you're going to have, you'll be transitioned by 2025 then to where you will strictly be doing this new cloud-based insurance verification?
Molly Lennon, for the record, yes, fiscal year '26, when we go unified release, all of our integrations and major transactions, that integration will also go live, and they will be utilizing the new solution. In the meantime, they will have to continue to use the NV Live as it's connect to our legacy system.
Okay, but we will be in the clouds by
Correct.
26. Thank you.
Assemblywoman Gorlow.
Thank you, Chair. I have a quick clarification question, and then I have an actual question. I thought you mentioned this was E242, but I showed E232, so I just wanted to clarify that I had the right budget. I mean, my information's all the same. I just want to make sure the number was the same.
Phoning a friend just to
All
verify.
right, sorry. Well, and while we're phoning a friend, I can just ask you, what savings and customer service improvements are you anticipating from the implementation of this new cloud-hosted verification system?
Thank you, Molly Lennon, for the record. As I indicated, the solution will replace all current functionality with opportunity for enhancements. Right now, much of our staff's time is spent working with insurance companies. One of the capabilities of MV Solutions is actually allowing the insurance companies to virtually make updates, become a part of the solution, so it will eliminate a lot of interaction with insurance companies. There are other features in which they can correspond with our customers up to a certain point, and then they will divert those customers back to us in order to calculate reinstatements and do some of the more in-depth customer service. We do expect that there will be benefits for our staff and our resourcing. It is hard to tell at this point what the cost benefit will be, but keeping this funding in that account will make it a lot easier to track.
Thank you very much.
And Assemblywoman Gorlow, you are correct, it is E232. You're welcome. Members, additional questions on this particular budget? Yes, Assemblywoman Dickman, and then we'll come to you. Senator Goycochea. Assemblywoman Dickman, yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a quick question. Appreciate all you guys for all your hard work, but this question is, it looks like there was a couple of changes to the original vendor quote, and I was wondering if you could just confirm the updated cost of the new vehicle insurance verification system in each year of the biennium, 23-25.
Thank you. Molly Lennon, for the record. Yes, we did request a technical adjustment. It was requested to remove an optional mailer component, bringing the total cost to $717,600 per year. That is the implementation cost and also the ongoing cost for future biennia. The technical adjustment also removed a % variation in cost, which could occur with increased mailers. Current features, we didn't require the mailers initially, so we chose to remove it now. It is still on the list of features we may consider in the future.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Senator Goycochea.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and I'm still kind of back in the clouds with the insurance verification here. But, yeah, again, in some cases, when somebody goes in to register a vehicle and they show insurance suspension, and then I know it's a lot of work either by them and by you, and ultimately the insurance company or somebody, there was a glitch, and it truly isn't the person's fault. And I'm guessing this cloud-based technology will avoid a lot more of those, or because the insurance company will technically be dialed in the same as you, and then when both of them match, and truly the guy didn't have insurance is kind of how I'm looking at it. Is that kind of how where we're at?
Molly Lennon for the record. Yes, that's correct. We do expect efficiency to go up in terms of errors. However, there will still be that human factor, misentered VINs, et cetera, but we do expect that the cloud solution will catch those more quickly. There is less manual intervention for verification of insurance versus what we're doing today in our legacy system in the new cloud solution.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Members, any additional questions on 4731? Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and move to budget account 201-4715.
Good morning, Chair Harris, Chair Watts, and committee members. For the record, my name is Susie Block. I'm the administrator of the Motor Vehicle IT Division, budget account 4715. The Move It division is comprised of 80 full-time employees. Move It provides IT services and support for the department. These services include applications programming, network support, system support, operations, and help desk support. Move It is involved with maintaining critical DMV systems, supporting the internet and kiosk applications, maintaining the department's personal computers and printers, and building safe and secure interfaces between DMV and other agencies. The Move It budget is funded with a combination of highway funds and interagency fund transfers. Today, I would like to highlight the following decision units affecting our division. Decision Unit E226. This decision unit requests funding to purchase a log analyzer module for SolarWinds, our IT service management solution. The log analyzer module will improve the department's security posture as the DMV moves its resources to the cloud through the transformation effort. This tool provides a centralized reporting feature to assist us with auditing, security, and patch compliance and reporting. Additionally, the centralized tool assists us in troubleshooting and identifying root causes more efficiently. Decision Unit E228. This decision unit requests funding for 4 full-time contract programmers. These positions will help support our legacy computer system until it can be successfully decommissioned. Our current full-time employees will be freed up to work with our vendors on the new technology, as well as train and upskill to be able to support these systems in the future. Decision Unit E240. This decision unit requests funding to purchase our Gartner Technical Professionals Advisor subscription. Access to this subscription provides Move It staff with access to a team of analysts and research that provide contextual advice, technical best practices, and document reviews of architecture and technical plans. Part of our transformation effort is retiring decades of old legacy systems and replacing with cloud-based solutions. Access to industry experts and analysts will continue to support DMV with the new technology we will be implementing. Decision Unit E241. This decision unit funds maintenance on mission-critical infrastructure. All DMV IT server infrastructure and DMV business processes currently operates within a VxRail environment. This legacy environment needs to be maintained until most of the servers are migrated to our future state. We will be able to support this environment with the additional maintenance in place. Decision Unit E551. This decision unit requests funding to purchase an expansion in our VMware licensing environment. Currently, the department uses physical servers in our Reno, Decatur, Henderson, Donovan, and Sahara offices. Purchasing this expansion will allow the department to leverage virtual servers, eliminating a large physical server footprint within these locations. Decision Unit E554. This decision unit requests funding to replace antiquated video conferencing equipment. The department's current video conferencing equipment is more than 8 years old and end of life. Our video conferencing capabilities are essential to collaborating with staff and vendors. The video conferencing solution allows us to connect to all DMV conference rooms that contain this equipment and will allow us to collaborate with our remote locations. Decision Unit E800. This decision unit requests the increase in cost allocation expenditure authority of salaries. Currently, the Pollution Control Account Emissions Control Program expends 100% of the salary cost associated with 2 IT professional positions within the Motor Vehicle Information Technology Division through a cost allocation. Due to the transformation effort project, no enhancements to the current emission control program are being approved. These 2 IT professional positions are responsible for the continued maintenance and support of the applications utilized by the pollution control program. The department would like to proceed with utilizing these 2 positions for transformation efforts currently being completed that do not have a direct impact to the pollution control program. Due to the continued need for the IT professional positions to maintain and support these systems, the pollution control program is requesting approval to update the cost allocations reflecting that each position could work on DTE for 20% of their time while continuing to provide the necessary support to the pollution control program. Decision Unit E900. This decision unit requests to transfer quality assurance testing personnel, 4 business process analysts, from MOVE-IT to the Research and Project Management Division RPM budget account 4742. These 4 positions participate in the gathering of requirements, creation of test scripts, and full testing of all technical projects managed within the department. This request is revenue neutral. We are just aligning the positions within the appropriate division. And last but not least, Decision Unit E901. This decision unit requires to move the funding for the Commvault Metallic cloud-based backup solution from the Research and Project Management Division, budget account 4716, to the MOVE-IT division. I thank you for the opportunity to present budget account 4715 as enhancements, and I'd be happy to answer any questions the committee may have.
Okay, thank you so much. Assemblywoman Brown-May.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for that presentation. I love IT. Just have to say that. Making me miss home. My questions, I'm a little confused because we talk about the migration, maintaining the legacy, systems. As we migrate over to the new systems, we have 4 positions that you are recommending be contract positions. When I look at the numbers, you have 80 staff right now in FY23, recommending to go down to 76 and 24, 76 and 25, right? So I'm just trying to wrap my head around where are we going. Can you talk a little bit about your efforts to review your current staffing levels? And then talk about the possible elimination of those 4 contract positions due to that department transformation effort, if you would.
For the record, Susie Block, MOVE-IT Administrator for the Nevada DMV, through the chair over to Assemblywoman Brown-May. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview. The contract programmers are going to continue to maintain the legacy systems, implement legacy code fixes as needed for upcoming legislative mandates, so they'll be able to support some of those efforts, and work on our critical fixes as they occur. So if you can imagine a 20-year-old, 25-year-old technology stack, it takes a lot of work to keep a lot of those systems up and operational due to some of the batch processing, a lot of manual support in those efforts. The contract programmers will primarily be working on COBOL, Power Builder, DB2, CICS online and batch programs within those legacy environments. Most of their work is supporting current tickets. So just trying to keep the operations up and running, minimal impact to, all the field offices that are supporting, the work that's going on today. Additional code changes, small, break-fix operational issues, and performing daily duties necessary to keep our CARS system stable. And I want to kind of hone in on that. In order to be successful in transformation, we have to make sure that those systems are stable in order to do a lot of the important work to be able to migrate data and processes into the new environments. So once the DT program is complete, will these contractors still be needed? So let me answer it in this way. We will know more once we retire our CARS system. We may need to retain some expertise to properly mothball, that's a term we use, the legacy code. We also will want to make sure that our partition on the mainframe is properly and securely decommissioned in accordance with audit and state security policies. So there's a lot of complexity anytime you take legacy equipment offline. We have to make sure we comply with all of the federal requirements, with our partners in SSA because of the type of data that we support on those environments. And we may require the contractors and their skill set to facilitate these decommissioning activities. So I'll know a little bit more once we head into decommissioning CARS and the mainframe. So please provide an update on the 9 positions kept vacant. So let's see here, specifically, how are you managing with current staffing levels and vacancies? I'm just repeating the question, so. What efforts are being made, or how are you approaching reorganization to align staffing needs with the new system and our overall reorganization strategy? So the Move It budget was approved this fiscal year to keep 9 vacant positions, so we don't actually have the full 80. We have 9 vacant to pay for and fund the full-time contractor positions. And one of the reasons we had to do that, it's very hard to find the skills, the COBOL and Power Builder in these junior level roles. We have stopped all major programming enhancements to ensure the system stability, and we are happy to say we only have 3 vacancies in Move It currently. So I think we've done a tremendous job around staff retention and also filling those roles. When I came on to the DMV roughly a year and a half ago, I had very high vacancy rates. Our key staff have been doing a great job providing subject matter expertise in support of the DTE project. So a lot of the senior folks that supported the CARS application are now able to participate in these necessary sessions around design or how the system currently works. The Move It team underwent an organizational readiness assessment. We did that sooner rather than later. And that was orchestrated in partnership with Slalom, our systems integrator, RPM Research Project Management, and our MCP Senior Advisor, Bob Kalin. We evaluated the operational needs based on the product and service catalog that was provided out of our quarterly planning sessions. So what we did is we had aligned the staff to be able to successfully transition, supporting the future technical ecosystem. We have brought organizational change management alongside with our human resources staff to revise the existing work performance standards and essential functions to evaluate and identify skill gaps, learning needs, and the new ways of working. We will be conducting 90-day evaluations to assess our team, how they're doing, and ensure they're receiving the necessary training and coaching to support our new technical platforms. Currently, we are finalizing the solutioning of our future state technology. We're almost there. Once that occurs, this will include the new tools and platforms, and then we will be able to finalize this activity, doing further evaluating and a needs assessment to properly align the vacant staff, those 9 positions you asked about, with supporting the future technology needs. So I hope that answered your question.
Follow-up, Chair. Thank you. That was very detailed. I appreciate that. You mentioned tickets and response times, and I'm just curious to know, do you have an average tickets that are outstanding? It's a key performance indicator that we use in the for-profit sector. I'm curious to know, are you tracking open tickets and your average response time?
Susie Block, for the record, through the chair to Assemblywoman Brown May. Yes, we have actually went through a transformation on our own service desk to align with those measurement and criteria. I don't have the figures in front of me. I'd be happy to provide you how many tickets we're supporting in a month, but we are tracking that and our service levels. You're welcome.
Any additional questions on this budget? Okay, not seeing any. Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and close out the hearing on 4715. And with that, release the DMV from their duty today. Go back to your actual job. Is there anyone here who'd like to give public comment in Carson City? Anyone in Carson City for public comment? Okay. Anyone in Las Vegas? Not seeing anyone. BPS, can we just check the phones, please, to see if there's anyone who'd like to give a public comment today?
Chair, there are no callers at this time.
Okay.
Public comment.
Thank you so much. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned. Have a great day, everybody.